Welcome back, everyone. This will be my new Flash movie video. A lot of people asking what's going on with DC movies in general. I'll explain what's up because they made a couple big announcements. They also made a big announcement about their plans for a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie in the DCEU, like a big end capper, like an Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers Endgame type of situation for the DCEU. So I'll explain what's going on with that, what their plans are, and how they've changed. And it looks like they've found who their new version of Kevin Feige is going to be in charge of all the DC movies going forward, like that 10-year plan that they announced. So I will explain who that is, but if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I will be doing more DC videos, like even though it's a bloodbath at DC right now with shows and movies getting canceled left and right, they are still making some of the big budget HBO shows, and obviously some of the movies are still being planned. I'll explain what's survived during the video too. Peacemaker Season 2 is going to be like the next big HBO DC show that they do. The Batman HBO series will be after that. And they just revealed that they are still making that Green Lantern HBO series, but it's not supposed to release till 2024. But the big news you probably saw in your feeds the past couple days is Warner Brothers' plan for the Flash movie. Ezra Miller, how their grand overarching plan for the next big Justice League movie has changed just a little with all the crazy behind-the-scenes stuff that's been happening all over the place. Like, DC has changed fundamentally. They have this new 10-year plan, but also on the side, you have all this crazy Ezra Miller stuff going on in real life. First things first though, DC and Warner Brothers currently planning on 3 different contingency plans for the Flash movie. They either do nothing and hope that all this craziness blows over by the time the movie's released next summer and have Ezra Miller just issue like a public apology and kind of put him in a closet where he can't cause more problems until the movie is finished being released. Option 2, and I think this is the best option, if things do get worse, which let's not kid ourselves, they're probably going to get a little bit worse, they'll just kind of delete him from all their press plans for the movie. Like, he'll still be in the movie, and I'll explain why, because there's some twists with the way they're using Ezra Miller in the villain of the Flash movie. He'll still issue some sort of public statement, but like they won't use him during any of their press, and they'll shoot a new post-credit scene where at the end of the movie, he'll basically pass the baton to like a new version of the Flash, so like Ezra Miller will basically be out as DCEU Flash. The reason I think this is the best option is just because it allows them to sort of explain canonically what happened to his version of the Flash, why he's not around in any more future films, and also give them a chance to start fresh with like a totally different actor. They won't bring all this extra baggage with him, like we just want to watch a really cool movie, we don't want to have to deal with all this crazy real life stuff that's going on. Or their third option, and this is like the nuclear option, if things get really, really bad, which they always could, worst case scenario, they'll just cancel the whole Flash movie and never release it, like they're doing with the Batgirl movie. Like, the only way we're going to see the Batgirl movie now is if somebody steals it from Warner Brothers because of this weird tax loophole they're using. There's these special tax rules that they'll wind up having to pay way more money if they do release it in some fashion. So like, they literally have to just put it on a shelf in a deep dark hole somewhere. The problem with them canceling the Flash movie outright, like never releasing it, is that it cost them already about $300 million, which is way more than the Batgirl movie, which cost like $90 million, still a ton of money, but a $90 million pill is a little easier for them to swallow as like a giant corporation than a $300 million pill. So right now, I would just plan for them to get rid of Ezra Miller at the end of the Flash movie, like something will happen to him and the baton will be passed to either like a version of Wally West or like another multiverse version of Barry Allen. I would be fine with either eventuality. The reason why they can't just reshoot all of Ezra Miller's scenes with a different actor or like digitally replace his face is because he's in the movie twice and he's in most of the scenes, because there's like a multiverse version of Ezra Miller that you see in the background of all these shots. You notice the multiverse version of the character is wearing a Flash suit that's like cobbled together from an old Batman suit of Michael Keaton's, and the Flash symbol on it looks very similar to the reverse Flash symbol. That's because the real villain of the Flash movie is supposed to be this multiverse version, like he'll be a dark version of Barry Allen, so it'll be like the good DCEU version of Barry Allen against the dark version of Barry Allen from this other universe, from Michael Keaton Batman universe. So essentially they'd have to completely remake the movie from the ground up twice. I also just did a video about how they're going to end the Flash TV show after the next season, like season 9 will be the last season, so Grant Gustin will basically be done as the TV show version of the Flash after that. And the very last episode is going to air right before the Flash movie comes out. So a lot of people are like putting the dots together saying like, wait a minute, if you're going to end the Flash TV show and then like right after that the Flash movie is going to happen, why don't you just shoot a post-credit scene where Grant Gustin becomes the movie Flash? Because they already crossed over in Crisis on Infinite Earths, so it's already canon that Grant Gustin is connected to the DCEU.
I'm also the Flash.
You're also the what?
It's complicated.
Even though that would be a cool twist, the reason why I don't think they're going to do it is because Grant Gustin has probably just been playing The Flash for so long that he probably wants to take a break, and Warner Brothers and DC probably want an actor who can be their version of The Flash in a bunch of movies for like the next 10 years. So Grant Gustin probably doesn't want to sign on for like another 10 years of being The Flash in a bunch of stuff all the time. But I do hope that they have sort of like a small Grant Gustin cameo scene during the movie. It would be weird if they don't have a Grant Gustin cameo scene. But I also just did a video for the Aquaman 2 post-credit scene first look because they just brought Ben Affleck's Batman back for Aquaman 2 to shoot a completely different post-credit scene where Aquaman was going to meet a version of Batman. But in the original version, it was supposed to be Michael Keaton's Batman because originally they were going to release Aquaman 2 after the Flash movie. So like you were going to have met Michael Keaton's Batman. He was going to be part of the DCEU multiverse. Then later in the timeline, Aquaman 2 would come out and Aquaman would meet that new Michael Keaton Batman. But because they changed the release order of the movies and now Aquaman 2 is coming out before the Flash movie, most audiences were confused why it was Michael Keaton's Batman. Like, wait, what's he doing here? Where'd he come from? So DC just had to bring in Ben Affleck's Batman for continuity's sake. Just to explain the Crisis on Infinite Earths movie that they also announced. So originally, like before all this big DC buyout, before everything changed behind the scenes, before they announced their brand new 10-year plan for the DC movies, originally they were going to use the Flash movie to set up a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, and it was going to be like their version of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, like a future Justice League crossover where all the big DC movie characters cross over with each other. Because they wouldn't have wanted to copy the DC TV version of Crisis on Infinite Earths, it would have been a vastly different plot and a lot of the characters would have looked very different, obviously. What's changed now is that it sounds like they've completely changed their plan for all these future movies. They still want to do more Justice League films, but it sounds like now the next Justice League film will be more like Justice League versus Black Adam, and more of their plans are turning on The Rock's Black Adam character and what's going on with some of these newer characters, especially the more popular ones like Superman. Like Superman is a big part of their future plans. They still might wind up doing a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie at the end of all this, like at the end of 10 years, but like I said, because they said it's a 10-year plan, it's not going to happen for a long time. The funny thing about that change now, too, is that if they do end with a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie in 10 years, it'll be a very similar situation to what Marvel is doing with Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty and Avengers 6 Secret Wars. Big multiverse phase also. Like, multiverse is the operative word in all these big story universes right now. But like literally Crisis on Infinite Earths is where they collapse the multiverse, like they destroy a bunch of universes. That's kind of what they're doing during Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. Also part of their new movie plan is to make all of the movies a little more interconnected and crossover way more. The only DC movies that are immune to this right now are the Matt Reeves Batman movies with Robert Pattinson. They don't have to cross over right now, according to them, and the Joker 2 movie with Joaquin Phoenix. There are no plans to cross that over with the other versions of Batman at this point. But the new Kevin Feige figure that it sounds like is going to run DC movies, or at least their top candidate right now, is Greg Berlanti, who most people will remember from all the DC TV stuff. If you don't know much about Greg Berlanti outside of the DC TV stuff, he basically has his own TV and movie company. A little while ago, he had 10 different shows all airing at the same time while they were also releasing multiple movies at the same time. So he's like one of the few people in Hollywood that can handle like a giant machine like this and has a ton of experience in just making TV shows and movies outright. He's not their only candidate, it just sounds like he's one of their top candidates. He's also currently making some of the big budget HBO TV series right now, like the Green Lantern HBO series is a Greg Berlanti series. My other guess would have been that they would have formed like a smaller committee, and on that committee they would have put people like Greg Berlanti who have experience in actually like making and releasing TV shows and movies, and people like Jim Lee who just like really understand the characters and have a deep connection to the comic side. But hopefully that explains what's going on with the Flash movie and what DC's current plans are right now. Now, it's a developing situation, so like by the end of this year, we'll have more information about what their grand plan is. But currently, like the movies that you know about right now, like the Flash movie, Aquaman 2, the Batman sequels, the Joker sequel, all that stuff is still coming out. Most of the stuff that's been canceled are TV shows primarily, and it's all the stuff that came before that was not planned as like big budget HBO series that connected to the movies. Like the Arrowverse is kind of dying with The Flash because Superman and Lois just explained that they're taking place in an alternate universe. It's not like the Arrowverse version of Superman. Don't worry though, there will be big budget DC shows coming to HBO in the future though. Like we will have DC episodes to talk about, but it'll just be a bunch of the brand new stuff. Everyone click here for that Aquaman 2 Batman first look video, and click here for my She-Hulk World War Hulk trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.